Fight fans, you need to hold on because this is massive. Alex Pereira has just signed a huge long-term deal with the UFC, one that could realistically keep him in the promotion for the rest of his career. This isn't just another contract, it's a clear sign of how valuable he has become. This move shows the UFC is fully invested in him as a top-tier star. What makes it even more exciting is his ambition. Pereira isn't satisfied. He's already talking about becoming a 3-division champion, even targeting heavyweight. That mindset alone tells you he's chasing something far bigger than just titles. He's chasing legacy. And when a fighter like Pereira locks in a deal like this, it opens the door for only the biggest fights possible. Which raises Pereira's own words reveal everything. He says he's happy and willing to let the UFC decide his future. That's not just about money, it shows trust. And that kind of relationship between a fighter and promotion is rare. What stands out even more is that he gave up the light heavyweight belt to pursue this new path. That decision alone shows his long-term vision. It also gives the UFC flexibility to book massive fights without complications. And let's be honest, nothing screams blockbuster more than a potential clash between Pereira and Jon Jones. That fight isn't just hype anymore. The foundation is already being built. Let's talk money, because Pereira is getting paid like a superstar. Reports suggest he could be earning around $5 to $6 million per fight. That's elite-level money, reserved only for champions and major pay-per-view draws. This confirms what we already know: the UFC sees him as a major revenue generator. And that kind of investment means one thing: he's expected to headline generational fights. And what could be more historic than Pereira versus Jon Jones? That's the kind of matchup that defines eras. Next up, Pereira is expected to face Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight title. It's a huge fight and a critical step toward his heavyweight ambitions. Stylistically, this matchup is fascinating. Unlike a Jones fight, this one could turn into a striking battle, which is exactly what fans love. It's not just about winning, it's about how Pereira performs and whether he can dominate at heavyweight. Because if he does, it sets up the biggest fight possible: Jon Jones. Now here's the uncomfortable truth about a potential Pereira versus Jones fight. While it sounds incredible on paper, there's a real concern about how it might play out. Jones is known as a tactical genius. Against a dangerous striker like Pereira, the smartest approach would likely be wrestling, taking the fight to the ground and controlling it. That creates a dilemma. Fans want action, knockouts, and striking wars, not slow grappling-heavy fights. So the UFC would have to balance hype with reality. Would the massive payday outweigh the risk of a less exciting fight? Despite all that, Pereira remains fully confident that he will fight Jon Jones one day. That belief is pure fighter mentality, unshakable confidence in his path. If he beats Cyril Gane and becomes a three-division champion, his legacy instantly jumps to another level. That kind of achievement is extremely rare in UFC history. At that point, he wouldn't just be chasing titles anymore, he'd be chasing greatness. And Jon Jones would represent the ultimate test, the final boss. When you start comparing Pereira to legends like Georges St-Pierre, Anderson Silva, and Demetrius Johnson, it stops being hype and becomes a real debate. His rise has been insanely fast. Every fight feels like a main event, and almost every performance ends in a highlight reel finish. That's why people call it Poetin time. He's not just winning, he's entertaining, finishing, and building a global brand. And now, with a massive deal and endless ambition, only the biggest fights make sense. Everything is perfectly lined up for a super fight with Jon Jones.